Nate, please cut all this shit out. This is
No.
I'm gonna edit it. I'm gonna edit it to where I say it first, and then I'm just gonna have you guys fucking laughing. I'm gonna make you guys seem so fucking brutal.
Hello and welcome to Late to the Party Movie Reviews. We review movies that are a minimum of 10 years old and see how they hold up today. Today we are reviewing Poltergeist from 1982. It is a Steven Spielberg production and it was directed by Tobe Hooper, starring Heather O'Rourke as Carol Ann, Jo Beth Williams as Diane, Dominic Dunn as Dana, Craig T. Nelson as Steve, and Zelda Rubinstein as Tangina. This movie.
Oh, welcome. Oh, welcome.
This movie has an 85 on Rotten Tomatoes and a 7.3 on IMDb. There's a lot of layers to this movie that we'll be discussing today, including the curse and so forth. We'll start off with a new question for everybody. Actually, we'll go traditional. Does this movie hold up today? And we'll start with Lego in the Cave.
No, this movie does not hold up. The practical effects look very bad. I feel like if I went to my grandma's house and I stopped by the thrift store with $100 in my pocket, I could make this movie. It was a rough one to get through, especially with the product placement. That was real rough.
You mean Spielberg's homie George Lucas's stuff sprinkled all through everywhere?
I don't know, when they literally like flap it in front of your face on the bed sheet, it like covers the screen, and it's like, buy me. Yes.
I wanted all that stuff in those kids' room, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Including the clown.
Oh.
All right, Jose, what do you think?
I gotta side with Lego on it. It was I don't know. I remember actually seeing tits and bits of it when I was growing up, and at that time it was scary. I don't know what's happened to me. I think just better movies have been made, and now retrospectively looking back at them now, I don't feel like I don't know, man. It's just I'm a sucker for practical effects. I've mentioned that multiple times. Some of the stuff I really like, some of it, but it's kind of like, yeah, it was a little tough. As far as holding up the way it is now, no. But it could definitely use I don't know. I hate to say the word, but if they remade it.
They did remake it.
When?
Like within the last 3 years, they remade this movie.
Oh God, man, where was I?
Costco. Isaac.
I did not know that. That's good to know. Was it any good?
Miles watched it. I'd have to ask him. I wanted to get through this first, and I'll see if the remake's good or not. But we'll have to see. That'll be another lane we go into after sequels. It'll be remakes where we go down the rabbit hole.
We should probably watch the original and the remake and decide whether or not they're good.
For sure. Isaac,
What was the question?
does the movie hold up?
Oh, no, it doesn't hold up. It's an old-ass movie, dude. It had the best effects it did back in those days, and that's as far as it's going to go, is how you got all that awesome Steven Spielberg computer graphics and whatnot, and then, I don't know, dude, it's an old-ass movie. The story's fun. I liked it. It was enjoyable, but like these two young cats are saying, doesn't hold up. $100 at the thrift store? Come on, man. You need more money than that to do that. Those types of graphics.
Not much, man. I got a phone, and I got $100. I could make that shit.
I would like to see that. Can it be done?
That's a new. It's going to be a new series we're going to release.
challenge.
Get it,
$100
Dylan.
challenge. Make Poltergeist with $100.
Oh, remake a scary movie with $100 or less.
I think we could do it. I'm down.
We know
All
a
right,
director.
Scott's, what do you think?
I like this movie. I really do. Like, can it be made? Wait, what was the question again? No, does it hold up? Sorry, I'm pulling an Isaac. What was it again? Yeah, I think it does. There's just a couple of like little hiccups here and there, you know, with the practical effects that are just dated because of what they had to deal with. But you know, the spectral monster in front of the door, that was a great CG like thing, and
It's not CG.
or
Practical.
whatever. Special effects. But the dialogue was the story was fun. I mean, the story's basic, but it's a fun basic. The dialogue was good. The acting was good. Yeah, dude, it holds up. But I'm also old as shit, so I have a lot of, you know, this was like the scary movie to watch at the time. This was one of my favorite ones, so I think nostalgia factors into this one a lot for me. I like this one a lot.
For sure.
I'm gonna side with Liz on this one. I think it does hold up, and the only reason I say that is because, well, first of all, we've been on a run of really crappy movies. So having a movie with like consistent story and good acting and like a narrative that makes sense, that's a big plus right now. And then, you know, you talk about the effects not being as good as today. Well, granted, I think you have to say that for anything of that age. But a lot of these things, you know, because it's a Spielberg production, it reminded me of Spielberg's other works. You know, the ghostly hands reaching out and stuff like this reminds me of scenes from Raiders of the Lost Ark. And, you know, the ghostly beings coming down the stairs reminds me of scenes from Ghostbusters, which is in the same time frame. And those movies I don't have like objections to. The only scene that I when I saw it that was kind of like, oh, those effects aren't that great.
Save it. Because we're going to ask you what scene you think you hate the most.
Hang on, this isn't the worst scene. I'm just talking about a scene where the effects didn't look so good. I have a worse scene. That's different. But it's the scene when they first get the parapsychologist to go into the room, and everything's kind of like spinning around, and it's obvious that it's all like superimposed, and it wasn't done real well. Or maybe it was done well back then, but it just was obvious. And so that part was a little bothered me. But otherwise, I wasn't like ever taken out of the film, so I enjoyed like the whole thing. It was a joy in comparison to the previous two.
Yeah, I'm with you guys, and it might just be like a nostalgia thing for us. It had a solid plot. The story was continuous. It didn't seem like there were parts of the movie that were in there because, you know, some guy dreamed it up in his basement and couldn't take it out of his heart to not have it in there. I didn't think there was any too much fat in the movie. There was a couple things that I thought didn't need to be in there, like I'll get to later, but yeah, it was solid for me. I had fun with it. I developed a crush on Jo Beth Williams, and she's like,
oh man,
when she's cute, man. She's got a great smile.
Dude, I forgot how good looking she was from this movie, man. I was like, whoa.
I realized that I have a crush on Jo Beth Williams. I don't know what else she was in, but when I was seeing her in this, she was just like fun and had a good smile. And when she was smoking weed on the bed and rolling up joints with her husband, they've got 3 kids in the other room, but they're still able to have a good time. You know, I don't know. It was
glad to see goals back in the day.
Right? You know, she's not all like overbearing 2000s mom. Like nowadays, you know, they're like the killers of fun and all that stuff. Like She's, you know, still cooking and having a
He
good
is
time, cooking mood.
definitely not helicopter parents, that's for sure. They just send the kid off into the taxi to go off to grandma's house, and the daughter gets to go over to the boyfriend's place.
Right.
And
I like
she
when the
goes back with
daughter.
Dickies on.
I like when
She
the
just
daughter's
later-
all where, and they're like the hotel, and she's like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, yeah, I remember that one. And she's like, what?
What? Well, the best part is
For
she
sure.
goes back at the end, and you look at her neck; she's got hickeys all over her neck too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and the mom was she was so chill. I mean, she had so many chances where she could have gone total Karen. Dude's going in the window, eating spaghetti sauce out of the pot while it's cooking. They're like, they got Billy from Terminator outside. Yeah, they got Billy from the Terminator outside, getting full on pedophile with their daughter, and she's just like, boys will be boys. I'm gonna go upstairs and smoke my joint. Have a good time. Like, man, that was goals, man.
I like how
She got
was-
hotter and hotter as the movie went.
Yeah, I like how she was enjoying that the poltergeist was pulling her daughter, and she put a helmet on her for the daughter to get pulled across the kitchen.
Right? She's not scared of it. She's like, let's roll with this, right? We got a nice house. It's got a Ghostbusters stairway. I'm just gonna put a helmet on her, and we'll just fucking roll with it. Like, she was gangster, dude. I love that woman.
That was the cool thing about that with the dialogue. She's in the kid that rolls across the floor, and she's like, "Mommy, that bird." She's like, "Yeah, sorry, I have to put another wax on the floor." You know, I was like, no big deal. Like, it's like little dialogues like that just was kind of cool about the movie.
I think something that
Yeah.
doesn't hold up on this film is to fathom that TV would turn off or television programming would end
Yeah.
day. Like, there's no ending for us to watch anything these times. Kids would never understand that. They'd be like, what? TV's done? Like, no, I don't think so.
And you see how many guys are around that little TV that's the size of like a tablet
when they're watching
nowadays,
the football
watching
game.
the football game.
And then the
I'm
neighbors
like, oh my
changed it.
god.
Yeah, and their
No, it
remotes
was,
are on the same channel.
It was fun. It was like a window into the past. Like Lego said a couple episodes ago, that the 80s have gotten overdone with the nostalgia pieces, trying to recreate the 80s. Well, we just had it right there live in this movie, and it wasn't trying to be the 80s. It just was what it was. So I really like that. It didn't seem like it was dated. It just seemed like it was a movie from that time. And because it was well made, you know, well acted, well directed, and the special effects for the time were done well, you know, I think it held up. All right, so we're going down a different lane. We'll start again with Lego, and we'll go through the cave back to the Scotch, and I'll caboose it. What was the worst scene in this movie to you,
Ooh.
Mr. Lego?
Man,
This movie.
I feel like the worst scene for me has to be the guy peeling his face off the camera.
Yeah.
It was just, it looked so bad. It looked so bad. It was like so plastic from the start. Like, they could have even cut it where it was like it was actually his face, and then he started peeling. Like, I don't know. It looked bad. It followed the steak scene, which was like the best, but I don't know, man. The face ripping off scene, I hated it. It was awful. That was the worst for me.
Isaac?
I don't know. I can't really pick out a terrible scene that I didn't like or it was too fake, because that scene, it did remind me of when I was young and I saw it, and it was pretty creepy, but watching him peel it and how crappy the graphics were, that was, I guess, though, I don't want to parrot everything that he just said.
Talk about the whispering. Fuck, dude, that whispering. Why did we have like 10 minutes of whisper in the middle of the movie? Elizabeth, the fucking, the TV's off. The cameras are off. We gotta start talking like this. We're gonna talk like this for 10 minutes. But guys, it doesn't stop. It just keeps going. We're just talking like this. And turn up your TV screen.
and you're gonna wonder what the hell's going on, but it's just gonna keep going and going
I like this
and
thing.
going.
It's so good. I think we should just do this whole movie review of us watching Lego do his movie review. That's what this movie review should be.
All right, Scots.
Okay, well, the big one was picked out already, but the scene where she gets pinned after she gets, she dyes her hair because she gets the gray, and she gets pinned up against, like, on the bed, the whole jerking, and then they do that whole, like, she crawls up, like, the wall and that just looks kind of stupid. Like, I could see them doing something, and then she's touching all these doors and she gets shocked and shot across the floors and stuff. That just seemed to be a little, like, extra. You know what I mean? Like, they could have done, I like the long stretch hallway part. Like, they could have done something like that where she couldn't get out of the door, and when she did, they cut to the long hall where she's stretching, where they stretch her, she's got to do that run down the hall type thing. All that other stuff in between, I think that could have all gone away. That's my thing.
I'm kind of surprised that none of you guys caught the very worst scene in that whole movie. And that is...
I haven't gone yet.
That is... Well, maybe you're going to agree with this, but that was at the end when it says, Kathleen Kennedy, producer. That's the worst possible thing you can imagine. I literally cried out in horror at that moment. It was awful.
Yeah.
You guys got my text when I was watching it. I said I threw up in my mouth a little bit.
No, so, I mean, apart from the fact that some of it is a little dated because the special effects were rough back then, I don't really think that there's a bad scene in the film. It's a really cohesive narrative. The acting is pretty good throughout the whole thing. Like I said, the most offensive thing to me was Kathleen Kennedy's name being on it.
For me, I don't know if it was a scene, but it was more like a what the fuck moment, a ching ching for the kids. It was, all right, they already had the midget exorcist come through the house, right? They get the clean bill of health. And then they go back into and they're already packing their shit up and leaving. And they go back inside, and then shit happens to them. It's kind of like, man, when the creepy guy in the van goes by your house, and you call the cops on him, the cops take him away. When the next creepy, you gotta get away from there. You can't be there anymore. Like Eddie Murphy said, was it Eddie Murphy? Where he was like, they don't have any black people in haunted house movies because when they pull up to the house and the house goes, get out, they just leave. And there's no movie. So, I think that the whole part of the resurgence of the ghost and all the graves coming up out of the ground and all that stuff, it probably, like, I don't know, that shit wouldn't have happened to my family. We would have been the fuck out of there. Like, we wouldn't even have slid my little brother across the floor with a helmet. Like, the first sign of anything, we would have been gone. So I think that once the midget gave the house a clean bill of health, it would have been like, all right, well, we're going to sell a fully furnished house. Let's get the fuck out of here. And, somebody else, because we're never going to set foot in this motherfucker again. I'm gone. I'm just saying, man. When the house tells you to get out, you got to get.
Yeah.
To the buckets. Well, we're gonna finish with Lego. Let's start with the Scots and we'll finish with Lego because Lego's always a good final reviewer for these things. We'll do the Scots and then me, then we'll go through the cave and finish with Lego. So, beam us up.
9 buckets. It's not a perfect film. There's a few little hiccups here and there, but definitely 9 for me. I love this movie. I can watch it again, over and over. I really like this one. It's just like I said, the pacing, the dialogue, the story, the characters are believable. I think the nostalgia of it's not something trying to be the 80s. That's just how it was. You had the suburban life like that. And well, I had the suburban I had the suburban life like that, with the guy on the bike with the beer and the kids, you know, messing with the adults with the remote control cars. Crap like that. That was my neighborhood type growing up. Yeah. So for me, it's just the haunted house of my life. So it was good. I liked it. Nine for sure.
I'm going to go a little down from that. I'm going to say it's a 7. It's definitely worth watching, and I think I think that the part that's most obvious about it is you can definitely get that Steven Spielberg vibe off of it. If you've watched any number of films, this one definitely fits in it. Even if it's directed by a different guy, it almost seems like Spielberg was telling him like what to shoot and how to do it, because so much of it reminded me of other work of his. So, and I'm reasonably a fan of Spielberg's work, so I enjoyed it. It's worth watching. It's definitely a solid 7.
All right, Jose.
I would have to agree. I'm gonna give it a C, so a 7. Just because, like I mentioned, I didn't feel like there was anything that was, you know, like there wasn't a scene, you know, a bad scene that stuck out. But at the same time, nothing really, you know, on the opposite side of that, I didn't feel like anything stuck out for me. I mean, it's cool because I noticed where Scary Movie got a lot of their ideas from, like to parody. So I really, you know, I was like, okay, this is where they got it. This, you know, this is what they ran with. But even just watching it, I don't know. It just wasn't. I guess it was because I've heard so many. Everybody talk about, oh, Poltergeist this, except the stand in those 80s and all that stuff. I don't know. Maybe I had high expectations going into it. Maybe, but it just. I watched it and it was just that. It was like a casual viewing for me.
Awesome, Isaac.
I give it an 8. A haunted house, a child locked in the other dimension, skeletons coming out the ground. It's a perfect Halloween movie. Perfect movie for the fall. I give it an 8.
Yeah, I'm with you guys too. I'm putting it at an 8. You know, I feel like it did the same for me that E.T. did for the aliens and that Star Wars did for sci-fi. You know, the Spielberg-Lucas connection was there. And to me, it was a 5 without Joe Beth Williams, but Joe Beth Williams brought it up two extra buckets for me. So I'm going to be looking on Google right here and finding out what else she starred in from that time, just to go back on that lane and if I can get my Joe Beth Williams fix, man. She was amazing. All right, and then let's see the final review. Lego.
I'm a bit conflicted. I am, because there's a lot of good stuff in there, and it's a cohesive story. And I don't know if it's imagined, but I felt as if there was this whole, like, kind of undercurrent of criticism against, like, Hollywood. I felt like they were kind of turning the lens upon themselves, so to speak, and, like, revealing a little bit of, like, the down and dirty of what's going on behind the scenes. And we're seeing a criticism of the American family, the American sitcom family. And maybe that's just me projecting what I want to see, because I also saw fucking Darth Vader sheets flapped in my face. So maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I'm like, is it a fucking 9 or is it like a 2? I'm like,
Wow.
It's not a 2. I'd give it like a 7. I'd give it a 7. It's solid all the way through. There's some pretty bad spots, but mostly it's good.
All right, there we have it. Probably a solid, I want to say, let's see, between Liz and everybody, probably hold out between all of us at an 8. So this is one of our highest rated movies that we've gone through so far. Nobody hated it, so that was good. So let's go down the rabbit hole a little bit with this movie, and we'll talk about the Curse of Poltergeist. The Curse of Poltergeist started with Dominique Dunne. She was the actress that played the teenage daughter, and she died. She was strangled to death by her boyfriend the same year that this movie came out in theaters. So she was also, during that time, she was doing a bunch of different work in TV. Poltergeist was the only thing that she had done in movies, but she was doing a lot of other thing in TV. And let's see, like episodes of.
Movie was filmed in the 30s. I think they're all.
She was in Chips. It's too silly, but
Who did
yeah.
Who else died?
Oh, he's still going. That was a good one.
Juice.
Out on Chips.
Juice. That was a good one.
Deep Blue
The only
Sea.
film,
Was she also
the
in
only-
Mission Impossible to show? Laverne and Shirley. I Love Lucy. She was a bag
Love
checker in I
Boat.
Love
She
Lucy.
was on Love Boat.
Love Boat. Was she one of those chicks that showed up in Gilligan's Island that Gilligan almost kissed?
Fantasy Island.
Oh my
She was also in the Andy Griffith Show.
Dude, she got her
Great.
start and Leave It to Beaver. Leave her alone.
These Company.
Oh my God.
She was the 10th square in the Brady Bunch. She's the forgotten sister. All right.
All right.
Straight face. All right, we're professionals.
Breathe it in. Breathe,
Yeah,
let
we're
it go.
I'm gonna let that roll. She was strangled to death by her boyfriend, so she was brutally murdered, guys. So
pictures of us laughing.
yeah, laugh it up. I'm not editing that out. She was brutally murdered by her husband, so I was the one who maintained composure. Not by her husband, by a brutal boyfriend.
Because
It was her
passionate.
boyfriend.
She didn't want to marry him.
Yeah, and he got less than 4 years for it.
Wait, she had a boyfriend and a husband?
No, it wasn't her. It wasn't her husband. That was a slip of the tongue for me. It was her boyfriend. He got less than 4 years for it. So, in less time than it takes to graduate high school, he was back on the streets,
Damn.
beating and choking women out.
Good
He
lawyer.
wasn't on Charlie's Angels. He didn't make it to My Three Sons or Gilligan's Island, but he did murder this young girl. So, her career was cut short.
Wow.
I think they based
That's
an episode of her death on Emmett for murder.
Did they?
No.
Probably.
Nate, please cut all this shit out. This is
No. I want.
over
I'm
here.
gonna edit it. I'm gonna edit it to where I say it first, and then I'm just gonna have you guys fucking laughing. I'm gonna make you guys seem so fucking brutal. It's great, man. I'm gonna make it so savage.
Oh my God.
All right, so back to the curse.
The curse
She was
also.
strangled.
She was strangled by her boyfriend, Heather O'Rourke, the little girl Carol Ann. She died at 12 years old
Oh,
from. Yes, she never grew up. She died at 12 years old. Josh actually met her before. I think he went to school with her. You have any insight on what happened to her, Josh?
Not really. No, I mean she only went to school with me for maybe 6 months, and I think that was happening concurrently with the movie being released. So she didn't last long because once they got the paycheck from the film, they moved out of town. You know, they didn't have to stay in Stink Town anymore. They could move to where they wanted to be.
It says here doctors had been attempting to repair an acute bowel obstruction caused by congenital stenosis of the intestine, but could not save the young thespian in time. She was pronounced dead on February 1st, 1988 at 12 years old. And she's the same age as we are, so we were all...
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so very, very sad thing. There was others, if you dig into it, there was things that said that it was cursed because they used real human skulls for some of the filming scenes, and that there was issues with lighting and other just random stuff that made the set seem like it was haunted to a lot of people. So there's a whole lane if anybody who's watching this is interested, or if you just want to get some laughs at the death of young people getting murdered by disease or brutally killed, then you can go down the rabbit hole and take a look at that.
kind of sick people do that?
I mean, that's kind of a bit of a stretch, though, to link the guy killing his girlfriend to the movie. It's like, you did Poltergeist. I hated it this much that I'm gonna strangle you. I'm like, that would be a direct connection. Because I mean, you know, like you can't control another person's actions. I mean, how the hell is that linked to the movie? Like, I like what else though? Like, was there deaths on set? Like, did anybody die on set?
It was just a crazy stalker boyfriend, is what it was. That's what it boiled down to. It was a crazy stalker boyfriend.
The guy there's a guy named Julian Beck who played the apocalyptic preacher Kane in Poltergeist 2. He didn't live long enough to see the release of the sequel. He died at the age of 60 while battling stomach cancer. Let's see, third death of an actor associated with the film rousing spectral suspicions was Will Sampson. He played a kindly ghost named Taylor who protected Caroline in the second film of the series. He died on June 3rd, 1987 after a lengthy illness caused by chronic degenerative condition. He was 53. And then there's Heather O'Rourke, and then Zelda Rubinstein, who played the midget psychic, or the little person who had mental capabilities. She died at 76, but she was 76. It was natural conditions, so they don't attribute Zelda's passing to the curse of the movie. And but there was a lot of other rumors that said that everybody who had dealt with that movie had died, including Craig T. Nelson and Joe Beth Williams.
Oh, not her, the MILF.
No. She's still alive. Those were debunked by Snopes as I dug in further. But
Good.
there was quite a bit of carnage with the movie, and you know the saddest being the two girls that died.
Yeah.
You know, tragically at such young ages. So yeah. Curse of Poltergeist. You know, if you guys shoot a movie.
Is there a curse of the Land Before Time? We're talking about young deaths.
That's gotta be the most horrific story I've ever heard, dude.
What's that?
The Land Before Time. That's the saddest Hollywood story I've heard, man. That is awful.
Everybody dies. Like all those dinosaurs are dead now. It's horrific.
Oh my god.
100% fatality.
It's complete genocide of all their species. It's ridiculous. Maybe some of the ferns that they ate in the background might still be survive as a species, but
That's not true. The Loch Ness Monster's still out there, so we're good.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
There's no legend about it. It's real.
all right. So we're gonna have to segue back into reality, away from the rabbit hole of fun and laughs of the deaths of Poltergeist, and get back to our normal lane with the show. So we are going to be changing it up.
People.
We're going to be changing it up. Next week, we're going to be starting the blockbuster, and then after the blockbuster, we're going to rotate the movie choices between all the people that participate on this show. So this is going to be my last, or at least my last sequential movie recommendation. And then next week, we're moving the three choices to Josh, and then we'll decide who gets the next choices from there. So next week, go ahead. Somebody say something. Am I being haunted by the poltergeist ghost? Having auditory hallucinations?
You didn't laugh. You're next.
That's right.
That's true, huh? So.
Oh, welcome.
All right, so our choices for the next movie, it's the blockbuster. We got three choices. I was able to come up with one more between last week and this week. The choices are Raiders of the Lost Ark, Star Wars, and Back to the Future.
Let's go Raiders.
All classics.
Baby, I get to wear my hat.
Hey, Raiders gonna take it.
You want the Raiders, Holmes?
Life, Holmes.
Hey, Raiders got the most loyal fans, eh?
What the hell?
My brother's a Raiders fan. He's the one who I tell
Sorry.
him that, like, if you're, like, it's the only team in the world where if all their fans would die, the world would be a better place.
Dang.
Maybe they should all work on the next Poltergeist movie.
Right?
I was waiting for somebody to say it. I'm so glad it was you, Lego.
I'm glad you caught. I'm glad you caught that pass, Lego.
Oh, damn. Isn't
All right,
it-
so
you
we
have
got.
to- Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
What? What was your question?
So we're going Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Well, we got 2 for Raiders. What does Lego say? Or we got 2 for Raiders, 3 for Raiders, right?
Wait, no,
Lego.
I think we're outvoted. I think I see 3 votes. I'm down with Raiders. That's fine.
Cool. You call him Dr. Jones.
Wrong
Wrong
movie.
movie.
Dale, strong bridge.
You call him Dr. Jones, doll. Gotta get it right.
All right, Raiders it is. So that'll be the last in the original launch of this show, and then we'll be going to the rotational movies, and then that should do it. So for Late to the Party, I'm Nate the Great, and you
Nope,
guys are
I'm Liz.
other people.
Sorry, Liz.
And Josh.
I'm Isaac.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Jose.
This was dedicated to the people that died, even though everybody thought it was funny. I'll edit that out. I'm kidding. We can end it. You can stop recording.